Stephen Hawking has claimed that humans will live on the moon within the next 50 years. Now, this took place at the Live from Space program, during the Live from Space program. He also said that we'll be getting to Mars by about 2100. Now, this Live from Space program is where they show astronauts outside of the International Space Station doing spacewalks live, and that's very very interesting, very entertaining to see, from a scientist's perspective, from someone who's interested in the sciences. But Mr. Hawking, Professor Hawking, he talked about overpopulation and the lack of resources, having finite resources being the major reason why humans will have to go to other planets and colonize other planets or moons, basically any type of celestial objects that are be conducive to human populations to live. So, is he right? Is overpopulation a pressing concern? I don't think so. I mean, there's a big debate between liberals, conservatives, and just people who think like overpopulation is something we have to do, and like there's such dramatic responses to that, like, oh, we have to stop people from having kids, we have to do this. Some people go way in the other direction, too far, almost like a totalitarian, we're going to save the world by sacrificing these people. You can't have kids anymore, you can't do this, So I don't want to get on that side of it, but there certainly is a overpopulation threat that we're going to face as humanity. I mean, it's just logical to think of that. Now, whether it's as pressing as some people say, I'm not convinced, although I'm no expert. So I won't make any, definitive statements on it, but from my perspective of overpopulation, I think, yeah, it is a problem. And with finite resources, the way we use energy, the way we create energy, almost every single means of our energy production are completely finite, and they're non-renewable sources of energy. So it's not a very good way to plan for your future as humans, as civilization, when you're dealing with very finite resources and you keep using them and you keep using them. We're going to have to eventually get to some type of energy production which is easily reusable. You could make it cheap. You could make it with no environmental effects, negative environmental effects, negative pollution effects, which it's very hard to find that perfect energy source, that silver bullet that's going to solve all of our problems. But there's a group of different types of energy sources that are being studied, being researched, being developed now, whether it's solar, geothermal, hydro, lots of different types of ways of acquiring energy, using energy without putting a strain on our resources. Now, overpopulation, again, I'm not sure how far off we are from getting to the point where there's not enough food, not enough water for people. Maybe it'll be decades from now, maybe it'll be 100 years. But eventually it could happen just because there are only so many resources to go around. Now, Professor Hawking talked about the fact that we'll be on the moon within 50 years, and I think that's good. I'm supportive of that, but not for the same reasons. Like, he talked about having a plan B, that we need to have the plan B to go to other planets because of the finite resources and the overpopulation, where I see it more as, yes, that's a motivating factor, of course, but just with the advancement of science, so much science has been advanced through NASA and through the space programs of many countries, Russia, the Soviet Union at the time, because of all the research and development that went into getting people into space and putting satellites into space and improving space travel, making it faster, at least the limited types of space travel that we have. All of this has led to so many other developments that were just incidental, that there was no plan to have these developments, whether it's pens that write in zero gravity, just all types of things that were developed by NASA and these defense industries, just incidentally, and that we've all benefited from. So I think that investing in space research, investing in space travel, I think that's great, and I think that's the next step forward for humanity. Now, whether that should be done on an individualized basis, whether that should be country to country to country, I don't know. It might be better to have some type of international, like the International Space Station. When it comes to space travel, it would probably be more, well, not probably, it would be a lot more beneficial and a lot more productive to have many countries working together on it, and not have it be a militarized event, not have it be a political thing where one country is in control of it. The United States or Russia or China, one of these big countries, would, of course, ideally like to be in control of a working agreement like that between many countries that, pool resources and pool technology, pool experts, pool scientists together from the best of the best all over the world, and work on these programs and work on developing a system, some type of infrastructure which will allow these things to take place. Whether it's launching pads all over the planet. These are the types of things you have to think about. Just like you think about developing a road, and cars go on the road, and you need gas stations, and you need things that go with it. So those are all things you're going to have to think about and basically invent just from scratch. So I think some type of international effort working together, like the International Space Station, would be a much more likely successful space endeavor than doing something individually where the United States is competing against China or Russia, and that could lead to conflict in space, and that's not something any of us ever want to see.